IRCTC reported a stellar growth in the December quarter. Profit jumped almost 3 times. Let me just take you through some of the numbers and why maybe these numbers justify the kind of price movement that we've seen in this one. So look at the first basic numbers first, reported numbers. Revenues up 64%. Net profit up 2.8 times at about 205 crores. That's pretty strong. And margins expanded quite meaningfully to 37% versus 22.7%. Just look at the operating leverage that is coming. A lot of times people talk about businesses with certain operating leverages and how it will result in gains. This is the example of how operating leverage is looking like paying off for IRCTC. And as a result of that, just look at the EPS trend for this one. The last 3 quarters, that is Q3 FY19 and then Q2 FY20, Q3 FY20, the EPS has steadily jumped. Q3 over Q2 is 2x, and that just shows you, again, as I said, the operating leverage coming into play. Yes, what aided the EPS numbers is also the fact that the tax rate was lower. So this time around at 24% versus 37%. What aided EBITDA margins is that raw material cost was, as a percentage of sales, was lower as well. But even if you discount for all of these, there is still operating leverage that is at play out here. Now, what contributed? Let me just try and take you through the segmental revenues. The catering business, steady, about 8%, and I don't think too many people anticipate some big growth out here. It essentially is a direct result of the number of passengers. So passenger traffic growth would essentially be almost commensurate to the kind of catering growth. But Rail Neer expanded 42%. Internet ticketing expanded quite meaningfully for IRCTC this time around, 310 percentage points growth, and that's the stellar number, 226 crores versus 55 crores for IRCTC in this time around. Now, there are, of course, reasons for why this has happened as well. Post demonetization, they had stopped booking charges, which have come back, and therefore this big uptick in internet bookings, which has helped ticketing business numbers as well. Tourism revenues have moved up 15%, and State Tirtha, which is part of tourism and travel, under the header of tourism and travel, has also inched up quite a bit in terms of segmental revenues. So that 862% great jump that you see in State Tirtha, also in the tourism and the traveling business. And of course, the margins for each of these businesses also pretty interesting. Catering, you can argue it's gone down, it could go up, really difficult to say. I don't think it's a high margin business, but look at internet ticketing, big jump out there, and that is what is leading to this uplift. Now, the trends too, if you just look at, as I said, if you just look at the trends that we're seeing, the revenue numbers, EBITDA margin numbers, the margin numbers have been steady. We don't quite see that. It's just an uptick from FY18 to FY19 to 9-month FY20. But the PAT numbers have steadily shown an increase as well, aided in in part by the tax rate changes that have happened. Now, keep in mind, as I said, I just want to lay it out, the internet ticketing arm, which is essentially showed that big jump. The service charge was reintroduced from September 2019. Remember, this is at 20 and 40 for AC and non-AC, but this was discontinued post demonetization, and that has made a comeback, and therefore you will see that for FY18 and FY19 the numbers were almost negligible or zero, and now that has inched up. The government reimbursed about 80 crores in FY18 and about 88 in FY19, but the point is, if you just look at the service charges earned on the tickets, all through the years there was a number, it collapsed to zero for FY18, FY19, and it's made a comeback, as a result of which there is this bump up. Because of a higher base, 12 months out, these numbers will not look as impressive, but for the next few quarters, maybe it could, and therefore you'll probably continue to see this very heightened performance, though I'm sure that the next time onwards, analysts will price this into the quarterly expectations as well, if any. But you had to admit that there is a big rally on the stock, and the results in part justify the kind of move. Let's wait and watch if there is an uptick in the session today as well for IRCTC or no. I'd be surprised if there isn't. Then people will start talking about valuations once again.